My Cusco cosplay looks really cool and is almost finished. I'm only missing one last thing. The shoes. Perfect. Buy some shoes and be done. Or, hear me out, you could make new shoes from scratch. But I've never made shoes before. And that sounds like a lot of effort for, shoes? Exactly, that's absolutely unnecessary. The cosplay already looks great. But think of it this way, you could make them from scratch. Learn a whole new skill. Wasting time learning a new skill, that does sound like me. Let's do it! Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back to my little crafting corner of the internet. I'm Annie, and I guess today I'm making shoes. Well, not everyday shoes, but espadrille type cosplay shoes. Of course, I started by creating a pattern. For that, I traced my foot and added a generous amount of space around it. I want these to be comfortable after all. I cut out this template of my foot. Fits perfect. And now I want to make the part of the shoe like the insert, that is where my foot actually is, and I will use some brown felt and an old black denim pant. I cut everything out and actually decided last minute that I wanted a third layer that would be a bit more soft. So I added fleece from an old blanket. Here are the three soles, the brown felt, then in the middle we have this cushiony fabric, and then at the bottom we have the black denim. I'm gonna sew all of this together now. Then I searched around everything, because I A. wanted to prevent the fabric from fraying, and B. thought it might look nicer in the finished shoe. Honestly, one doesn't even see this in the finished shoes, but I still think it was a good idea. If I didn't have a serger, I probably would have used a zigzag stitch all around instead. After the fabric sole was finished, I got started on adding the sisal or sisal rope at the bottom. For that, I simply used a very sturdy sewing thread and hand stitched it to the fabric sole. I avoided having the thread on the bottom so it wouldn't immediately get destroyed when wearing the shoes. I am just jumping in to show you the progress I made. It's not much, it's not as much as I wanted it to be. Yeah, the convention is in 2 weeks and I wonder if I'm in over my head. But we persevere and we will keep going and we'll be fine. Yeah. Okay, let's keep cracking on. I finished the first sole. Yay, it only took forever. And look how pretty the inside is. I hope you can see it. You see all the stitches? So hopefully this does not come off during the convention. Now I have to make the top of the shoe. I hope I can use the sewing pattern I already created for my Hobbit slippers. Yeah, that is the next step, figuring this out. I generally keep all the sewing patterns I make, and it often comes in handy. They are more or less, rather less, organized and stored in sheet binders. Luckily for me, the Hobbit slipper pattern fit pretty well to my Cusco soles, but I anyways decided to make a quick mock-up. This quick mock-up fit pretty well, and I got started with the actual fabric. Pumpkin spice season is whenever you want it to be. Okay, good morning. Today, or what I will do now, is I work on the top covers of my shoes, and I was looking for my black fabric that I have left over from Daphne Hylas, but I seem to have eaten it or something. I can't find it for the life of me, because Cusco typically has these black sandals, and I wanted to make now black espadrilles. I don't know how to pronounce that word. I'm sorry, but I can't find my black fabric, so I decided to use this red fabric. I'm not using the same red fabric I'm using for the tunic, simply because that is a very thin and fine fabric, and I'm worried it won't last long as shoe fabric. So I'm using this. It's a bit of a different red, but it's very nice and sturdy. It still fits nice. It's not very contrasting red, so it should look nice together. So let's keep doing that. This red fabric is pretty old. I want to say 20 years-ish. I bought it for my very first sewing project ever, my Renaissance fair dress. To make sure the shoes fit extra securely, I decided to add a piece of elastic inside the heel piece. It's a little hard to see in the video, but I basically attached a short piece of elastic to the inside of the heel fabric. The elastic needs to be stretched a bit while you sew it in, so it can pull the fabric in and keep the shoes snug around your heel later. Both the toe and the heel part are just two pieces of fabric sewn together, turned inside out, ironed flat, and sewn shut. I also added the same decorative gold trim I already used on the Cusco tunic. And if you haven't watched my other Cusco DIY videos yet, make sure to check those out after you finish this one. And if you want to see more sewing, crafting and cosplay videos, make sure to subscribe. It would mean a lot to me, and it really helps me see that people are enjoying what I'm making. These are the things I have now. It's the sole. It is the piece that goes on the heel, and the top piece. And what I will do now, I will use this embroidery thread and some beeswax. I use the beeswax on the embroidery thread to make it a bit more sturdy. So I will wax this embroidery thread and then just use a thick needle to attach these pieces to the sole. Let's see how that goes. And after a mandatory tea break, I used a blanket stitch to attach the fabric to the sole. Something that I just realized now, so you can see I already sewed on the front, looks nice. Started sewing on the side, or the back piece. Tried it on, but it's too wide. So I will actually have to adjust this back part. That's not a problem. I'm not that far into actually sewing it on. I'm just gonna make a new, I have enough fabric of this. So yeah, I will see you back here in a bit. Okay, we are back with the new heel part, and it fits a lot better. Let's keep going with attaching the fabric to the sole. I didn't speed up this part of the video, so you maybe can see how I'm attaching it with a blanket stitch. And as the last step, I'm sewing the toe and heel parts together at the sides. It's important to try your shoes on before the step, because you can still tighten or loosen the shoes at this point, depending on the angle you sew these pieces together. I finished the first shoe. I think it looks great. It is shaped like a barefoot shoe, which I normally wear barefoot shoes. And yeah, it fits nicely. It's snug on the heel. We'll see how long it will actually survive a day at the convention. But yeah, I'm super happy right now with how it looks like. But that means we have to start with the second shoe. But don't worry, you don't have to see that, because for you now it's time for the reveal. Yay, the shoes are done. And after having worn them at a convention already, I can say they are super comfortable and they stand the test of time, or at least the test of one convention. Something I did before the convention, you can see I added these anti-slip pads at the sole of the shoes. I did that for two reasons. First, the rope is very slippery and I didn't want to slip around at the convention, but also I hope this protects the rope a bit from getting destroyed too fast and will make them last even longer. Although these shoes are not movie accurate, right? In the movie, he wears black sandals. I don't like wearing sandals. So yeah, I like them. They're not movie accurate, but I really love them. And I know I will wear them way more often than if I had used just sandals. So I really hope you enjoyed my first foray into the shoe making process. And stay crafty, and I will see you next time.